How are you?
All right. Two questions on the immigration deportation front.
Yes.
First, so in your view, someone is a criminal if they have been charged with a crime? Because you yourself have been charged with crimes, right? But, so that's one question. The other is if you were a law-abiding asylum seeker in New York City, someone who's doing the best they can to get ahead and
yes.
all of that, sending their kids to school, would you be scared about the prospect of the incoming administration?
Okay, two things. Your first part, I'm an American. Americans have certain rights. The Constitution is for Americans. And I'm not a person that snuck into this country. My ancestors have been here for a long time. And I don't know if that's your blouse is made of cotton, but they used to pick some of that. So what rights I have, the person that decides to shoot a police officer, they should not have those same rights. Okay, that's my position. And I look forward to hearing what is the idea of the border czar. I'm looking forward to that. I've said it over and over again. We need to fix the immigration problem in this city. The American people said that. I don't know if you really watched the election results. The president-elect had the popular vote, he had the electoral vote. He was not indecisive on what his positions were. He was clear we need to secure our border and deal with the immigration issue. The American people heard it, they voted for it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, one of my favorite storylines of 2024, ending 2024, is the storyline about the evolution of Eric Adams, New York City's embattled mayor who is facing federal corruption charges, and also he is facing re-election, okay? And it looks like the New York City's mayor race is a crowded race, okay? A whole lot of people have jumped in to try to take down the current sitting mayor of the city.
Well, we just got through the presidential election, but less than a year from now, we'll be voting again.
All right, this time for Mayor of New York City, Fox 5's Morgan McKay here with a look at who's in the running as of now. Morgan.
Steve and Natasha, we're about 7 months away from the Democratic mayoral primary, but it's already a crowded race.
The mayor's race is historically uncertain.
8 candidates have already announced that they are running against Mayor Eric Adams in this coming June Democratic primary, with other candidates still waiting in the wings. As Democratic strategist Trip Yang explains, it is rare to have so many candidates challenge a sitting mayor.
What it tells us is that beyond all the nuances of how you win a mayor's race citywide, people feel that the current mayor, Eric Adams, is very vulnerable.
City Comptroller Brad Lander, former City Comptroller Scott Stringer, State Senator Zellner Myrie, State Senator Jessica Ramos, and State Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani have been in the race now for well over a month. But in the past week, 3 more candidates jumped in the race. Jim Walden, a white-collar attorney, officially launched his mayoral bid and hired former Governor David Paterson as a campaign consultant. Paterson backed Adams for mayor in 2021 and donated to his legal defense fund earlier this year.
And I hope that in a way today is our evacuation day, because today is the first step in our journey to rid corruption from City Hall forever.
Michael Blake, a former state assemblyman and White House aide under President Barack Obama, also announced his bid for mayor last week.
We deserve a leader who won't have headlines due to investigations, but rather have headlines about jobs and education.
Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind, out of that group of people running against Eric Adams, there are probably quite a few far-left lunatics, right? There's zero doubt in my mind, okay? So what is Eric Adams doing in response to the fact that, yes, he needs a pardon from the president? And on top of that, he has everybody and their mother jumping into the New York City Democrat primary race to challenge him for his position. Well, he's doing what the Democrat Party should be doing right now, which is running to the right, okay? Abandoning wokeism and running to the right, okay? Running towards common sense, right? That is what Eric Adams is doing as he went off on some of these woke reporters, boohoo whining and crying about him meeting with Tom Homan, the border czar, in order to conduct mass deportations of the illegal immigrants, specifically the criminals, okay? And Eric Adams seems to be hell-bent on basically trying to show the city that, hey, no, I'm not one of these far-left lunatics, and I am going to stand up for common sense, especially on this issue of illegal immigration. Take a look.
Those who are here committing crimes, robberies, shooting at police officers, raping innocent people, have been a harm to our country. I want to sit down and hear the plan on how we're going to address them. Those are the people I am talking about, and I would love to sit down with the board of czar and hear his thoughts on how we're going to address those who are harming our citizens.
You're open to that?
Open to
hearing what their plan is to deport some of these folks, and you think the city, in some circumstances, should cooperate with ICE.
Let me. You know what's interesting? And I was talking to the team the other day. I want you to all go back and Google Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Google what they said about those who commit crimes in our city and what they said in our country. They said those who commit crimes need to get out right away. That was their position. So this is not a new position, because in the state in the era of cancel culture, no one's afraid to be honest about the truth. Well, cancel me, because I'm going to protect the people of this city. And if you come into this country, in this city, and think you're going to harm innocent New Yorkers and innocent migrants and asylum seekers, this is not the mayor you want to be in the city under. When people talking about the migrant, I say $6.4 billion. It's not really resonating. And a lot of people said that, okay, it happened, it's over, we lost the money. And Eric, you said this is going to have a devastating impact on our city. We have not seen the full course of what this did to us. I came into politics because of an 11-year-old boy that was arrested. He was absent from school a substantial number of times, and the DOE never saw him. He was arrested for a robbery two times. The long-term impact of that $6.4 billion has not materialized yet. We could have spent $400 million on community schools to handle chronic absentees. We could have spent $600 million on 2,000 guiding counselors and social workers in schools, $39 million on summer rise and extended hours for 30,000 children, $22 million on Metro cards for 75,000 summer youth employment participants. $200 million could have gone to 1,000 more police officers. $84 million could have gone to 730 park staffs. And you see some of the other numbers. Go to our agencies. Public schools, $33 billion. 50% of what it costs to run HRA went to this crisis. 50%. The police budget is less than what we spent. The entire NYPD is only $6.2 billion. Fire department only $2.6 billion. The impact of those programs that didn't materialize is we created more of those 11-year-old boys that I saw in that precinct, in the 88th precinct. The long-term impact of what we did to this city is you're going to see it materialize in administrations in the future. They hurt the future of New York City. And when people hear me say $6.4 billion, they may say, well, okay, it's just $1 billion here, $1 billion there. No, we didn't invest in seniors the way we should have, and young people the way we should have. We're not going after get these chronic absentee students the way we should have. The crimes that we witnessed, this impacted our city, and people don't seem to understand, why were you fighting so hard for this? Because I reflected on that 11-year-old boy that was denied, and I went into government to stop these 11-year-old boys, and I came up with a plan to do so, and the federal government made me take $6.4 billion out of providing these services that we all should be angry at what happened to our city under this administration.
Wow. So what you have here is Eric Adams doing something that Democrats are afraid to do when it comes to their own party, which is, again, throwing Joe Biden under the bus, right? He essentially blamed Joe Biden for the fact that his city had to spend $6+ billion on the illegal immigrants. Now, I don't think it's all Joe Biden's fault, even though I do think a lot of it is Joe Biden's fault. I also think it's the fault of the fact that, hey, New York City has these sanctuary city policies that are designed to protect the illegal immigrants. But even Eric Adams is coming out and saying that although I am required to follow the law when it comes to this, I want to change the law, right? Like I actually do not support this law anymore myself.
Our city services are open to all people who are in this city. That is what we do. That is what the law requires us to do under the current law. And I believe we need to modify our existing law, as I stated, but they should not be afraid in this city. We're going to, that's the purpose of sitting down, and I want to share my ideas with the incoming board of czar so I can hear his ideas. We don't know. All of us are speculating right now.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, again, Eric Adams is moving to the right. Okay, he's clearly running a more right-leaning campaign in order to try to save himself and his political career. Okay, and he claims that, hey, he wants to talk to Tom Homan. Okay, he's embracing Tom Homan, as he should, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't understand why these other mayors aren't doing the same thing. Why are they not trying to talk to Tom Homan and to coordinate getting rid of the criminals in their cities? Like, I really don't get it. It's almost as if Democrats just want to protect the criminals, which they do, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you are an illegal immigrant criminal or an American citizen criminal. Democrats are the party of criminals, right? So it seems, and they go out of their way to protect their own, right? That's essentially what's going on here. So with that being said, I definitely want to play this clip of Tom Homan discussing with Cuomo what the phone call with Eric Adams could possibly look like, what the meeting could possibly look like, and what are some of the things they can discuss in regards to conducting the mass deportations.
Thank you. Same to you, Chris.
So, is Adams right? Will you work with him, and is there a fix?
I will meet with Eric Adams. I've yet talked to him. I actually plan on calling him tonight, but I'll probably call him right after the show. But he's reached out to me a couple times. I've been on travel, but I plan on calling him either tonight or first thing in the morning. I certainly will meet with him. I'm looking for partnerships. I'm not looking for enemies, and I think we both have the same concern on the rising illegal alien crime rate in New York City. I want to help him address that.
Do you believe that you can get the bad guys without sweeping up a lot of not bad guys, except for the fact that they came into the country illegally and all the things that go along with breaking up families, breaking up workplaces, the risks that you know very well?
Well, look, like I said in the first show, our priority right out of the gates is criminal aliens, the ones who are here illegally that committed a crime. And that's why I'm happy that the mayor's reached out, because if they can help us arrest the bad guy in the safety and security of their jails, work with our law enforcement, that means less officers in the streets, less officers in the communities. But when we're forced, when a sanctuary city just keeps releasing illegal aliens with criminal convictions back to the streets, that forces the men and women of ICE to go into communities. And when they find the bad guy, most likely they're going to be with others. And ICE officers are not going to walk away from somebody that's here illegally, that's standing there in front of them. So if he wants less collateral arrests, that's what working together is going to prevent, more collateral arrests, because we're going to have the bad guy in our hands from the beginning and not have to go search for him.
One of the pictures that moves both sides of this issue are when you see the kids that show up, often unaccompanied, or somebody's pretending that they're unaccompanied. This was a problem under the Trump administration, as it is during the Biden administration. They're both in the very high 80s of the percentages of people, of these kids who would come and be released with a sponsor. Biden low 80s, Trump high 80s. The Flores settlement makes it difficult to change this, which is a big reason that the number was as high or higher under Trump. How do you deal with that? Because it is a big enticement to send kids here that they will get released in the country.
Well, look, I think, Congress can fix it by simply changing the TVPRA, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which had a good intention. And what that says is when a child comes across the border alone or with the help of a cartel, we got to ascertain they're a victim of trafficking, and if they are, they get special rights, and it takes years to go through those cases in most cases. However, they could change that law to make it real simple. If you're a child from Mexico that comes across the border, or Canada, and you're ascertained not to be a victim of trafficking, you just come into the country illegally, illegal entry, and you're not a victim of trafficking, children from Mexico and Canada can be immediately removed. But you're from any other country, you get a whole new process that takes years, and they found that loophole. They're taking advantage of it. So I think Congress could easily fix that by treating children from all over the world the same as we treat children from Mexico. That will stop the flow. As far as the Florida settlement agreement for the family units, let us detain families in a non-jail setting, an open-air campus setting, like we did under the Obama administration. It took about 40 days for them to see a judge and have the case heard, and of course 90% lost. We sent them home, and guess what? The family stopped coming. It wasn't until the Ninth Circuit said, no, you can only hold them for 20 days, which isn't enough time to see a judge.
Well, will you
as soon
litigate
as that decision got to
will
the
you
cartels,
take that? Will you litigate
Absolutely.
Flores to the Supreme Court? Because Congress, I don't think Congress is going to act on this. I think they're going to be distracted by all these investigations and things that are almost certain to ramp up again. I don't want you to comment on that. I want to keep you on your own job.
Wow, what is Cuomo doing, bro? Right? What is he doing right now? Okay, how you gonna ask the man a question and then turn around and say, "Well, I don't want you to comment on that, right? I don't want you to comment on that. I just want you to talk about this." It's like, dude, you asked him a question. But anyways, you notice how the border czar is doing something that you never got from the Biden administration, which is clear answers. Okay, this is something that is a breath of fresh air. That's the thing I love about Tom Homan the most. When you ask the man a question, he's giving you a direct answer, right? He's not giving you to run around. He's giving you a direct answer. He's citing laws. He knows his stuff. Like, this is a breath of fresh air. You do not see this a lot in politics where you will have an official go on national television and clearly know his stuff and doesn't avoid answering the tough questions. Like, he just answered that question about the kids, the children. He said, well, listen, there's a loophole in the law and it got to be changed, okay, in order to stop children from getting around it and stuff like that. Yeah, and it needs to be done by Congress. Now, I don't buy into this argument from Chris Cuomo that, well, Congress is going to be too distracted. No, we have the House, we have the Senate, we have the presidency. There are no distractions that should stop the GOP from doing what we voted for them to do. And if the GOP refuses to do what they need to do in order to stop this issue of illegal immigration, then there has to be serious consequences. I am very serious about that, right? Because they got in the way last time that Trump was president, and I'd be damned if they get in the way this time, okay? The GOP should not get in the way. And we're going to see what they're going to do, okay? Because we all know that Trump is serious about the mass deportations. You already have Eric Adams signing up to work with Tom Homan. I am excited to see what that looks like. I think that can be a beautiful partnership if done correctly. It can be a model for how this should be done in all the liberal cities across the country. And if Trump can get this W in New York City and Eric Adams can get the W as well too, that would be a great start to Trump's presidency. And also it would definitely help Eric Adams keep his job. This is like a partnership made in heaven, right? It really is, to be honest with you. And I said it from the beginning that it just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense for it not to happen, right? So hopefully, if this happens, it puts more pressure on other sanctuary cities to work with Tom Homan, and we can finally solve this issue of illegal immigration. And again, it just starts with one Democrat mayor from a big city actually wanting to help, right? Actually wanting to cooperate and just setting the example for the rest of the sanctuary cities, and then there will be massive pressure on them to follow suit. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.